You guys, I don't have a recollection of getting around to mentioning exactly this matter, but at work, occasionally I get that one person who comes up to me and is like, "Thank you for being here. Nobody wants to work anymore." And to me, that's one of the most hurtful things that I can hear someone say, because I see what they're trying to say. They're trying to say, "Oh, thanks for not having your spirit defeated, or your soul, your energy, your sense of responsibility and duty. You're still here, you've been serving, you're here every day, you never call out, whatever. I can acknowledge your presence. It's good that you're here, blah, blah, blah." But when I think about it critically, do you think I want to be here? Do you think I'm excited to be here? Do you think that this is the career that was intended for me based on my capacity and potential and all those things that people have always said to me over the years, which I have known because who knows myself better than me? To say that people don't want to work is just such a detached, overly privileged thing to say, because when I observe the person who's saying that, it's usually either a business owner. Either you were able to start it, or you were able to inherit it, or you happen to be someone with a professional development, or say profession that's meaningful. And when I see that, that tells me that you had a mom and a dad that were able to put you through college, or maybe you had a mom that was able to put you through college, or maybe you had a dad that was able to put you through college, or perhaps you come from a lineage of professionals that were able to spend that time with you, invest in you, because maybe you were an only child and they were able to give you their attention and use their resources on you. But sometimes there are people who don't really have parents, but they do have mentors, they do have coaches, they do have people who maybe adopted them earlier on in their lives and were able to invest in them. For me, the only reason I have the character that I have is because I saw the way that mom made it possible to survive. And you know what I said to myself? I said to myself, if I can avoid doing those things, I'm going to. And maybe that's one of those things that doesn't excite me about the idea of having a kid, because I'm thinking to myself, I saw what that did to my caretaker and my parent, and that is not the life that I want to live. Unfortunately, I had to be neglected here and there involuntarily. And I don't resent my mom, I'm not mad at her, but what I am mad at is the amount of disparaging remarks that adults say about other adults. And I can speak for myself when I say this, like my very humble beginnings, the effort that I have put to liberate myself and lift myself from the dire, extreme situation I was years ago. It makes me feel like just because I don't have things that are impressive to show it, such as ambitioning the house, ambitioning the luxury brand car, or ambitioning the luxury apartment and all that, just because I don't have those things backing me up, or let alone a certificate on some wall, some words in Latin letters, that somehow you have a right to talk down on me. And the very first thing that you need from me is my services when no one else is around, especially older people. It's like, sure, you invested all your time growing in your career, becoming the best in your career, only to come out here into real life and not know how to sign in to your fucking account on your phone. Is that what I'm supposed to be jealous of? Is that what I'm supposed to be feeling like nothing, feeling degraded, debased by? No, I like being out here. I like being here, present, alive, with energy, with my brain working, being able to sustain a conversation, not having attitude problems. Like, some people are continuously irritable, and then I have to have empathy for you because you came back from God knows what kind of shift, dealing with shit, and that is costing you your emotional well-being physical well-being in other cases, and you're telling me that that's what I should be aspiring for in the name of having an old age in which, I don't know, I can be surrounded by a couple of luxuries and things, or because I won't be able to work into old age the way that I'm working now. How about if you don't break down yourself too much when you're young, so that when you get older, you don't turn into a person who's ready to die? Like, you worked your best during your young years, you exploited yourself, you burned yourself out really quick, and now you're in old age, but you're by yourself, or maybe you had an army of children that you were hoping were going to take care of you, but your children as adults thinking for themselves are like, I'm sorry, Ma, I'm sorry, Dad, but I'm gonna have to drop you off somewhere because I'm just not qualified to have you in my home. I have a marriage, a relationship of my own, children of my own, and my home may be just limited. This may not be the place for you realistically, but then you want to be an old person intruding in the lives of your children. That has consequences, but nobody wants to tell you what those consequences are because talking bad about parents is sinful. No, your presence in your children's homes may have negative consequences. It will have negative consequences, no matter how good your intentions are to not be an invader. You're going to have that effect because you're not part of this squad. Realistically speaking, you're supposed to have your own squad. When people say disparaging remarks like that, I just cannot help but be like, I just hope that I remain the way that I am for as long as possible, like able to think about these things and understand my place, understand my position, understand the consequences that some of my actions may have, and keep a realistic view on my future. Like, sure, I am not putting max effort into building myself, building my wealth and stuff like that, and everybody who's old is like super worried about me, and I'm like I've said before, if I'm meant to be lost and end up being that person living under a bridge with freaking needles around me, then that's it. That's my fate. Leave it alone. Let it be. But if you're really that concerned about me, what you would do is go out there and fight so that the richest nation in the world that I reside in has their priorities straightened out. The whole living your life, being drugged, fix that. The whole, oh, depending on what side of town you're at, rent is affordable or rent is not affordable, or well, we're not able to put as much money into this home, therefore it's gonna look all dilapidated, but if you have money, sure, we're going to seduce you and make something look nicer. Just bring us all down to basics. We all have a role to do, and we all get to be at around the same level, and you don't have to worry too much about those differences, social differences. I think that's a great life. It's a life that knows how to ration their resources and stuff, but they're going to present it as a diabolical thing. To be honest with you, I don't really dwell on those topics too much. Societies where money is flowing are the ones that have advances. And I'm like, do we really have advances when I have to be dodging fucking potholes everywhere I drive? Imagine that. I work to have a luxury vehicle only to fuck it up driving on fucked up roads. What is the goal here? What is the common goal that we have? So yeah, you guys, please stop saying that to people. Me personally, the reason I continue to show up is because at least my status allows me to continue to show up at my job. I happen to feel alright, but lately I have been having an increase in the number of meltdowns that I have that no amount of me working a different job, working somewhere else, or whatever is going to fix. It's about my inability to really fit in with the goals and the lifestyles that people around me just have. I don't really find a lot of those folks relatable, and a lot of them cannot find me relatable. They may find what I have to say pretty cool, but who's out here trying to make those things happen? Like, you're trying to feel well, right? Well, why aren't you making decisions that would make you feel well? For me, what I have going on for now, it works just fine. So leave it at that. Like, once I declare that the situation I'm in just works for me, then leave it at that. Leave it alone. Don't try to squeeze more things out of me, anything like that. Just let it be. Don't keep the water rippling constantly. What's the point? Where are we headed? And I am not going to stop asking that question until I get the answer that convinces me. If the answer that convinces me requires me to start grinding more or something, cool, you'll get that. But until then, you calm down and I stay calm. These people who I be dealing with daily, like the so-called professionals, the way that you treat people who are below you in the social ladder, that's terrible. It speaks very ugly of you. I don't care how many masters and how many years you spent in school and how many years of cutting people up and stitching them back together you have. That doesn't mean shit to me unless you treat me with the respect and dignity that I know I have earned and deserve. All I'm saying is a lot of people in this country need to be humbled.